Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place where we try to cut through all the noise and really zero in on those insights that matter, stuff you can actually use.
Yeah, helping you get a handle on complex topics.
Exactly. And today, we're diving into something I think is really important for a lot of folks. Getting students genuinely hooked on reading.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some really solid research here. People who've spent years figuring out what makes students tick when it comes to literacy, interest and engagement.
Right. And our mission for this deep dive is basically to unpack what they found. What does it all mean for, actual learning?
Yeah, what are the practical implications? We're looking at how these researchers connected the dots between interest, engagement, and all sorts of literacy outcomes.
Absolutely. It's like they've synthesized their own work, giving us this concentrated view. They're not just sharing findings, but also thinking about, what teachers can do and where the research needs to go next.
Okay, so let's get right into it. If you had to boil it all down, what's the main headline from all this research?
The big takeaway, loud and clear, is this. Student interest and their active engagement aren't just nice to haves. They're fundamentally linked, consistently linked to positive literacy outcomes.
So it really matters if they care.
It really, really matters. Think of it like interest is the spark and engagement is the fuel that actually drives the learning engine forward when it comes to reading.
That feels right intuitively. I mean, you remember stuff you find interesting, don't you?
Totally. But this research digs deeper than just gut feelings. It actually identifies specific parts of literacy that get a real boost.
Okay, walk us through some of those. What are the key areas the research highlights?
Well, one basic idea is something called situational interest. This is about how specific text or maybe a classroom activity can grab students' attention, even if they weren't initially interested in the topic itself.
Ah, okay, so it's like that initial hook.
Exactly. It's about creating that pull, that, oh, what's this moment? Researchers like Heidi Baird and Berndorf did a lot of early work on how you can actually spark that.
Like a good movie trailer or the first chapter of a book that just grabs you.
Precisely. And once you have that spark, that interest, it does something really important. It directs their attention.
Right.
Researchers like Garner and Wade found that interested students are better at focusing on the important stuff in the text. They sort of naturally filter out the less relevant bits.
So interest acts like a spotlight, highlighting what matters.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It helps them cut through the noise and focus.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What else gets impacted when a student is really engaged?
Well, memory is a big one. Sadowski and his colleagues, they found a really clear connection between how engaging a text is, especially if it uses concrete language you can picture, and how well students remember the specific details.
Huh. So using vivid examples isn't just about making it more enjoyable, it actually helps things stick.
Exactly. It's like mental Velcro for the facts. The
Yeah.
engagement makes them adhere better.
Okay, interesting. So attention, memory, what else?
Then there's how students perceive the text itself. Does it make sense as a whole? Schra's research suggested that if a student is interested, they're more likely to see how all the pieces fit together, the coherence of it all.
And if they're not interested?
Then even a well-written text might feel kind of disjointed or confusing, like trying to put together a jigsaw puzzle when you don't really care what the picture is.
That's a really good analogy. It all feels fragmented.
Yeah. And of course, this all leads to the most fundamental thing, understanding, comprehension.
Right. That seems like the ultimate goal.
Absolutely. Folks like Beck and McKeown really established that strong link. The more engaged a student is, the deeper their understanding tends to be. Interest unlocks comprehension.
It seems obvious when you say it, but having the research back it up is crucial. Now, what about what kids already know? Does their background knowledge play a role?
Oh, definitely. Alexander and Jetton highlighted this. There's this synergy. When new information connects to what a student already knows, or maybe sparks curiosity based on their existing knowledge, engagement just skyrockets.
So it's like building bridges from the known to the new.
Exactly. It makes the new stuff feel less intimidating and more, interesting, like finding a piece that connects different parts of the puzzle.
And when that happens, when they're genuinely interested, what does that do to their learning process?
It leads to what Schieffel and Krapp called a greater depth of processing. They don't just skim the surface, they dig in, they think critically, they make connections.
They're not just reading the words, they're interacting with the ideas.
Precisely. It's more meaningful. And then researchers like Redinger really emphasize the individual nature of interest. What sparks one student might leave another cold.
Right. Personal interests matter a lot.
Hugely. It plays a big role in how well someone understands something. We need to think about those individual sparks.
Which kind of leads naturally to the classroom itself, doesn't it? It's not
Yeah.
just about the book. How can teachers set up their classrooms to encourage this?
Yeah. Guthrie and Cox look directly at that designing engaging learning environments. Things like offering students choices in what they read, setting up collaborative activities, connecting reading to, real world stuff that actually matters to them.
So creating an atmosphere where curiosity is like nurtured and rewarded.
Exactly. Making it a space where asking questions and exploring ideas is the norm.
Okay, this all sounds really positive, really powerful. But the researchers themselves admit it's not quite that simple in practice, right? There
Yeah.
are challenges, complexities.
Oh, absolutely. The research gives us the strong why interest matters, but it doesn't always give us a perfect how for every single situation a teacher faces.
Yeah. What kind of tricky questions come up?
Well, the researchers themselves point these out. Like, okay, what do you do when a student gets super interested in some fascinating but ultimately kind of minor detail and misses the main point?
Ah, yeah. The interesting rabbit hole.
Right. Or how do you engage a whole classroom full of kids with wildly different interests when you've got specific curriculum you have to cover?
That's a tough one.
And how do you help students actually broaden their interests, get them curious about things they currently find boring? And the big one, how do you make essential but maybe dry information genuinely captivating?
Those are the million-dollar questions for educators, aren't they?
They really are. It's like the research identifies the ingredients for engagement, but doesn't always provide the exact recipe for every dish.
So the research points the way, but doesn't give you a step-by-step map for every journey.
Exactly. And there's this inherent gap sometimes between what research aims to do, investigate, explain general patterns, and what teachers need right now in their classroom.
Right, research looks for averages, for general principles.
Like, a study might show that, on average, interest boosts attention. But that doesn't automatically tell a specific teacher exactly what to do with a specific student on a Tuesday morning. Thinkers like Kahan, White, Cole, Siegel, Renninger, they've all talked about this gap.
It's the difference between the lab, or even a controlled study, and the messy reality of a classroom.
Precisely. And the researchers acknowledge this too. The way research is done, careful sampling, building on previous very specific work, even intervention studies happening in unique classrooms.
Yeah.
It all means you can't just copy-paste findings universally.
Every classroom is its own little world.
It really is. So it's not about ignoring the research, but understanding its context and limitations for direct, immediate application everywhere.
Okay. But researchers do try to bridge that gap, right?
Yeah.
How do they make the findings more practically useful?
Yes, they do. A key way is by looking for what they call continuities of effects. They look for findings or patterns that pop up again and again across lots of different studies in different places with different groups.
So consistency is key. If multiple studies show the same link.
Like if study after study finds that giving students choice in reading leads to more engagement, whether it's elementary kids or high schoolers in different kinds of schools.
Then that suggests it's a pretty reliable principle.
Exactly. Those recurring patterns, those continuities, give us more confidence that it's something likely to work in practice. Even with adaptations, they're more robust signals.
That makes a lot of sense. Look for the themes that keep showing up. So, thinking about all this work together, what's the ultimate aim? Are they trying to create one big theory of reading engagement?
No, actually, they're pretty clear about that. It's less about some grand theory and more about starting or maybe deepening a conversation grounded in research about how we can make reading more engaging for students.
So illuminating possibilities rather than handing down commandments.
Yeah, exactly. Moving the discussion beyond just anecdotes or this worked for me towards a more systematic way of thinking about, how we tap into that natural curiosity kids have. How do we make reading genuinely rewarding?
Equipping people with better understanding so they can make better choices in their specific situations.
That's the goal, using evidence to foster that love of reading, that deeper engagement with learning.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, what's the single most important thing we should carry away from this?
I think the core message, the one that echoes through all this research, is that student interest and active engagement are just critical. They're not fluff. They are essential engines driving reading success and learning overall.
Right. They impact everything from attention and memory to deep understanding.
Absolutely. And while the research gives us this incredibly valuable lens, actually using it effectively means being thoughtful, being flexible, and really tuning in to the specific kids and the specific classroom environment.
Research provides the insights, but teaching is the art of applying them.
Well put. It's about using those insights skillfully in real-world contexts.
Okay, so for everyone listening, as you think about these powerful links between interest, engagement, and learning, here's something to chew on. What's one small, maybe deliberate change you could make in how you approach reading, or maybe how you support someone else's learning that could potentially open the door to deeper understanding or just more genuine engagement?
Yeah, maybe it's picking something purely out of curiosity or actively linking it to what you already know.
Or even just pausing to ask, hey, what's actually interesting about this part? Something small to spark that connection. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.